If somebody sometimes you have a gewaltige Geschmack in Avodas Hashem. People are spoil when they have a Geschmack. That's good. You misspoil. It's good news. And sometimes you're pushing it. It's not going. You got to push yourself. You got to do it. The davening, the learning. It's not working and you do it, the chesed, whatever. It's not going. You have to push it. The Eibishter helps. Says the Baal Shem HaKadosh. This is much more. When a Yid pushes himself to go without any excitedness at all. You feel like a layman, a golem. You're supposed to be, first of all, I want to thank Torah anytime, Kavash Gacha Pratis, and Kol Lashon, for everything. When a Yid pushes himself despite his ritzaynis, it's mamish, he's out of it. You're not, there's no time, there's no geshmak, you're learning bטחון, it's not working. It's no good. I don't feel nothing. Steignished. That's the best time. That's much better. Hashem HaKadosh. That's much better. You got to be in action. The Ovis had a glick of it. They had it easy.
What's the point of having a geschmack?
You try to have a geschmack.
Oh, why should there be a geschmack?
We're not holding by working without geschmacks, period.
It's a favor.
That's a favor. But when you're moving without the geschmack, the mess mitzvah of the door is, who believes in Lefum Tzara Agra? Do you believe in it? Do people believe in that? They don't believe in it. Because COVID dominates as like a good Novandiga, and Reb Moshe Feinstein was very much on Novandiga of Kav. He said the stories of Reb David sounds mamish Novandiga stories. Reb Moshe said that the COVID drowns out in the Vardig. They said Zachaidak. HaKovid Machalat HaKoil. The COVID, yeah, that's the Chaidak. Nobody gets the hint. Nobody chaps. David is talking. COVID. COVID is the churban of your life. You don't even chap who's the bandit behind everything. It's all COVID. Now I'm going to tell you something. I know Yidden that do not consider themselves matzliach and learning and whatever it is in davening because they can't do what this guy does or what that guy does. And what they used to do, now it's not what I used to be. I'm not the same. I don't have the same pizzazz. I messed up. Timtum alev. I spoke Lashon Hara. Abish is upset with me. I'm not the same. I'm getting older. I don't have not the right sviva. I didn't go to yeshiva. Got 100 different reasons why I'm going downwards. It's no good. It's no good. I know the truth. I'm nobody. I know the truth. You can't fool yourself. I'm not matzliach. You keep, with chizik. You're not good. You do that with yourself. You do it with your wife. You do it with your kids. You do it with people around you. But the Yitzhar, with people around you, will go the other way. He's going to turn a molehill into a mountain. Oh, this guy. You know how many times I came across, I was on a down and then walks over to me, the biggest, the admiration of all his peers, and pours his heart out to me. And I look at him, what, are you serious? And I chop. You think you're bad. Look what he has to say. Everybody lives in such a dimya. Pull yourself no good. But I know I'm no good. I spoke today Yiddish. I spoke for the Yiddish speaking Chevra. I said, I'm the Gavot. I mean, people, mamish, people live in Dimion because of, they know that he's making it, and this guy's, and they don't even chap. It's just the opposite. They spend a lifetime of Olam HaDimyon, and they put that they don't chap that the gold mine is now. And you're not learning good, that's what we want. Everyone wants to see that. How are you going to deal with this monster when you feel like you're not worth a penny? That's people talk themselves into such things. I know I'm no good. Now I kind of like this. I said like this. This kasha is a burning kasha. Titan emes Yaakov. Yaakov is ish emes. That's his thing, right? Ish tam. He's a tam. Yaakvedi zeh pamayim. Esav screaming. He tricked me twice. He's a tricky guy. He's Lavan, the brothers of Rivka. Oh, you married the brothers. The Lavan was a tricky person. There you go. Yaakov Avinu tricks his brother twice. Who does Lavan seem to take after? Who do we pick that from? What's going on here? He's supposed to be emes. So what's the pshat? I'm just telling you, I don't want to, there must be a lot that has to be said about that. It's not a simple, because it's an open kasha. It stares you in the face. How are you going to deal with that? You have to be Aram B'yira. You can't be a Tam. You're going to talk yourself into, but you have to be honest with yourself. I really do feel that I'm not the way it's true. Even as so-and-so, even my wife says this, I ate them, and I'm going down. It's no good. No. I know, it's just not the same. If you lie, there's hope. I told this to somebody who is extremely depressive, extremely brilliant, and extremely depressive. And I tell you, you want to guess which people I know that you want to be in the real emes, stick to the truth. Those truthful guys are the most depressive people you ever met. The Anshe Emes. They're the most depressive people in the universe. You want to be happy? Go fool yourself. Have a Oren B'yira. Don't be a fool. It's true. It's not true. Mandel said you're a great guy. Get lost and stop. Yeah, but did he mean it? You say it to everybody. No, you got to say it. I was like, it's not only me they say that to. They say any compliment is under scrutiny. Doesn't mean it. Criticism. Oh, now he hit the truth. You have to be truthful. You can't fool yourself. No, you must be truthful. Yitzhahar is laughing and dancing and clapping his hands every time you do that. Boy, did I fool you guys. With your from a Yitzhahar is the worst. From a Yitzhahar is a churban. But it's true. I'm no good. I told him, I said, this guy, he was never Hashem Yerachim. I don't know, today, I don't know if I would speak to such a person. But those days, I was young Bachar in Yerushalayim. And I was introduced to a guy, he looks like a very sweet fellow, without a yarmulke. What's going on with you? He even looked like well, I don't even want to say what he said about himself. His Amuna was on the rocks. And it wasn't Shemi, an agnostic, he calls himself, agnostic. He's not sure, I'm not an atheist, I'm an agnostic, only that's a madrega where you're not sure there's a Bari Elam, a Shemi Rach. And I met him during the 6 Day War, before the 6 Day War. 6 Day War. When everybody was walking around, I'm talking about a few days before the war. Yerushalayim, you could cut the tension with a knife. People were walking around, same people. They were total different. There was a pachad noida. They knew any day now the war's breaking out. And the Arabs are out to kill, forget it, what they can do, Hashem Yerachim. And people were walking, there were no smiles anywhere. And they went to shop and to go, it was a total different ruach. No, but there were no, and I meet this guy in the street. And I says, and he's going without his yarmulke, without his, I says, now too? Now you, yes, I must be honest. This is what I am. No, a person must be honest. You have to be truthful. Elach emes. Midas emes. Titan emes diyakiv. He thinks he's going to get a lamaba for that. And I say, lie and lie. We don't lie enough. Rabbi Miller, they say over Bishmai that the first shmuz he ever got from Avram Grudzinski. That's all you know Avram Grudzinski was. You have no musig who he was. There was no one. He was a star of God's Europe. He was one of the biggest of the biggest. A psycholog, if he met you, he knew you. He knew you. He knew everything you ever did. He was a murder. Hashem. I think Chavetz Chaim said on him that I create svarim. The Altam Slobodka creates people. It wasn't shaykh his greatness. He was an avad with Avram Grudzinski, Rabbi Demel. This is what they say over. I don't know. I didn't check it out. But the Azoy Zakman, the Vort is a million. They say some wanted to talk about Emes and Avram Grudzinski said, don't give me that subject. Emes will kill you. Rabbi Miller said he lived his life with that principle. I myself was once talking to Rabbi Miller and he was raving over somebody which totally wasn't true. Wonderful person. Oh. Oh, we'll become a great this. Oh, yes. Wonderful, wonderful. There it is. He used to say, and without lying, you're not going nowhere. You have to learn to be a cheverman of Hashem. You're going to fight all negative. Fight them tooth. It's war. It's why I told this to people. It's a war. You don't chop. You gotta work on this. I mean, so many broken-hearted people with so much talent and such tzabrochenkite. They don't chop. You must fight. Again, you can't. You're talking to the wall. If you want to go with the emes, you're finished. Because everybody says it's not really true. You go with sheker, you'll go places. Like me, I put in my hat Rash Kabah. It paid off. You know how I feel at this point? I feel like, after a while they said, don't let it get to your head. You're right, Rash Kabah. I said, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Get it to my head. You have to go with a cheverman. I am capable. Havi oz kanomer. A Nemer says, Rav Nosson, M'shem Yerushalmi, Rav Nosson Bachman, that's all. M'shem Yerushalmi, a leopard gets together with a lion, and the leopard's weaker. Because he's a cross between a lion and a tiger. He's a mamza. A mamza. Aviyos kanome. You have to be a mamza. What's going on here? The Torah Shulchan starts with aviyos kanome. An animal a mamza yet. Oh, wow. What's going on here? You have to be a sly fox. A chevraman. Don't be a name. I'm better than everybody. Yes. I hold like that. You know what? You'll steig. Anyway. So Rav Nosson said like this. Why does the leopard win? The lion's stronger. But the leopard is such a azus panim that the lion's disposed from the azus panim and he runs away. So you gotta be an azus panim. I'm the best guy around here. You know what the Yisrael is gonna do? Those chassidim over there. Or those Litvakis over there. It doesn't matter who. It's the same Yetzirah that glorifies others and puts you down. When I tell people to have self-esteem, I got a phone call from a Hasidic Yid who likes my stuff, and he tells me about his daughter. She's a teenage girl who's teaching, and she's insecure, You tell your daughter she's the best teacher that ever lived, and all the others are junk. But say that. Tanai Kofel. Kol Tanai Sheni Tanai B'nei Gov B'nei Ruvain. Aina tonight, Mafurish Mishnah. In the third paragraph of Kedushin. If it's not B'nei Gov, it means not only you say the hang, you gotta say the lav too. Not I'm the best guy around. he's no good, and he's no good, and he's no good. They're all baloney. I'm the great guy around here. I'm the only guy that's worth anything. Now watch how you get up in the morning. Watch how you breathe. Watch how you daven. I know younger man, he told me he gives himself a pump of self-esteem and he davens with kavanah. You can't even daven. He davens with a fire because he feels good about himself. Brother, there are shittas that the shita will do the job. I heard this in Novhardok. I know a lot of chassidus work like that. The pride is in their Rebbe and their chassidus. All right. Okay. But I'm into me. I'm too much of a balgaivadik for that, you know. Me, it's true that anyone in Lakewood is, big people said, when Mashiach comes, Lakewood is a spot. It's not stam. Lakewood is Kodesh Kadosh. It's Pashut. Your Baron, of Nassim, you know who they are in Shemayim? There's no one like them. I mean, forget it. In Lakewood, Reb Shnei, but I choose to go right here. Of the whole Lakewood, I'm the best. From Gans Lakewood, you just met the biggest tzaddik in Lakewood. And I hold like that. Pleasure to see the real. I hold myself to be, by far, the most chashuv guy in Gans Lakewood. And I'll prove it to you. I'll just prove it to you. In fact, my Averis will be my biggest raya. Despite all my Averis, I keep going. Could you do that? So I'm the big guy, not you. You guys don't even know. You never had nisyanis. I had bitter and sunny. I'm telling you, there's not a guy I know that can't say the same speech I just said now. They're all in the same boat. And why don't they do it? Do it! But the guy also has problems. No. I may do more than anyone else. Stay there. What do you have to be so honest? You have to be a shakra, and Yaakov Avinu ish emes. He, Yakveni Pamayim. The first introduction to a Bechir Shebavis, he knew how to trick his brother, but good. And his brother symbolizes the Yitzhahara, in my humble opinion. Not so humble opinion. That's the Yitzhahara. Trick him. Make a shtick. Call you say what you aren't. Stick around. What are you afraid of? You do that. I heard about there's a yeshiva. I heard this from somebody who was there. There's a bach everybody made fun of because he didn't chap who he was. He used to go speak and learning with all the Rosh Yeshivas. They used to laugh at him. He was an Amoritz. He didn't have kishreinus. He wasn't really from the Chevra. But he used to go around, and he always spoke of learning. He said his own betlach, and the Yeshivas used to humor him, like, Nebuch, this, he's not with it, you know. And I heard this from someone who knows the guy. I don't know who he is, but it was Yehudah. And after a few years, he came back, the guy was a star. He was mamish from the best. Because it's a changedet in cup. I'm the greatest guy around. Don't be afraid to build yourself up. Don't put yourself down. Averis. It's Averis. Who doesn't do Averis? So what? No, but me, it's really bad because I should have known better. Such a lamdin in putting yourself down. Such a green. You know, they say in the Vedic, negia gain. A negia is a gain. You have a negia, boy, there's a negia to put yourself down. That's why I apostle all that stuff. Whenever I put myself down, I say, you have a negia. You're on a campaign to crush, to forget it. Why do I say v'chata b'chaim? Everybody wants to live. Oh yeah? Think they want to live? Think they want to live? They have much more geschmack of destroying themselves. The Arabs actually do it. But they say, you know, a guy is a mirror of where we're holding. Goyim, v'chatchila, get into a good mood one day. Hey, Chaver, let's get together, do some jihad mices. Let's kill it, I'll blow you up, you'll blow me up. It'll be exciting. Get a whole bunch of amputees, a lot of almonas. It'll be great. We'll get into the newspapers, people will cry. That's that now, we're talking. Life is boring. Get together and let's blow each other up. That's what Arabs do. I mean, That's their fun. And we won't do it physically, but mentally, what people do to themselves, you don't forget. And if you don't forget yourself, it's hard work. It's hard work to boost yourself up. It's very hard. I'm getting I got a lot of, you think a guy like me should be dancing it up, this guy calls me up, you're doing good, you're doing this. You think it makes a difference. I think every time I'm like bored, oh, here comes another one, yeah? What else did I do? Oh, yes. And you're so gewaldig. Oh, that's so nice. And I sit there and listen, the Yitzhahara won't forgive you anything. He'll just forget that guy. He's that guy. Me, he learns. Don't forget, you have to work in these things. It's mamash and maisis sudden from the beginning to the end. But I want to repeat, I am known to be consistently inconsistent, and I want to live up to my reputation as being a guy who talks on two sides of his mouth. And I will say, if you are that way, who's always knocking yourself, keep it up if your life, you want to stay like that. I don't recommend it lechatchila, but some people, that's the way they are. Mandel's not going to change them overnight. So, a leiv nishbar is gewaldig. Go around for the rest of your life, leiv nishbar. That's it. Kimlei sivzeh. There's a big, you know what they say? I heard Shalom said, leiv nishbar b'nikkel kimlei sivzeh. If a guy's, he said, b'shem d'altam kim. I heard him saying BMT. So if the altam kim, you're not a leiv nishbar. Tivzeh, throw him out of here. He's not a leiv nishbar. You gotta be a leiv nishbar. It's good like that. It's so bad. The only thing is, I would not preach that. Mahalach. I don't go like that. B'chlal not. I hold there's plenty there, but you don't have to work on it. Be a leiv nishbar. You have plenty of, so many messages, you don't even detect them. So many negative, what I just said to my wife, the way I ate, and the way I wasn't really nice. I missed this guy's, now Novandig is, they have a ball. Because they laugh at everything, because they know, okay, they'll write down all the bad things. They're very in touch with them. They say, Abichel metafeder, darf jeder einer. That's what they hold. Novandig. I got this book in France. They see me over there, yeah? This book. Am I centered? Am I good? I'm all right. I got this in France. So you know what they use this for? All day long, they write down the rishimis that they have, all the pain. They write this bothered me, boom. So-and-so said something to me, boom. Then they can do this all day.
So what do you do with it after you wrote it down?
After you wrote it down. You take,
what are you writing?
You write down the rishimis that you're having over things that are happening to you throughout the day. Your simcha and atzvus level is totally in what's happening to you. What are people saying to you? What are you saying to them? You put I didn't like my davening. I got very depressed.
Negative stuff?
They write everything. But I don't think they will even track. Where's your simcha coming from? I don't go for that so much. What are you so happy about? If it's covered, they're going to go to war. Why? Because that's a simcha that ain't going to last. I don't do that. Sorry. But they do that. And Gershon was into that. But I just write down what's bothering you. And just bothering you, I said this, and I said that. Now sit down and look at it. And then smell the rat. What's really bothering you? Covered. Why can you handle the way so-and-so spoke to you? Covered. It usually covers the answer to everything. Get it type of covered. And mail it, put it down, and pick the most important thing that's really kicking, like hitting you bad, and learn for half an hour about you learn with a niggin, you make a chayzik out of covered, you tippish, you like covered what you need it for, you hack and cover, You erase the whole. That's Novandik. You have a daiga. What's the daiga from? No bטחון. But you write down. That's the start. They're always writing down.
The mila is that when you write it down before you learn Musar, so then when you learn Musar,
it's chal on a specific issue, and Musar's job is to erase that issue, get rid of it. That's why they're solid. They're crazy happy people over there because they got it all figured out. They know themselves. We don't know each other. Now I would make a beer on matzah via Mavara. Why am I not doing so well? Whatever it is, you can go ahead and tighten up your matzah. I'm a businessman who's not doing well. So, you can write down, I made a mistake by doing kach v'kach. Or, I don't have a good mazel. Or, I've always been a goofball. And here, this is me all over again, since I'm a kid. Or, I should have been learning at that time. Hashem is punishing me. You got a whole bunch of negative things that are going on. Oh boy, they're alive and well. And they persecute you throughout your life. All these negative messages. That's why now you got to get a hold of that and say, now look, you have an agiyah. You're looking to be maharis yourself. You're looking to... The negiyah, people are in a mode. A negiyah, what means a negiyah? They have a sheet and they don't want to go away from it. Or they have a habit that they're stuck to that habit. That's the comfort zone. I'm comfortable feeling sorry for myself all my life.
They think it's right.
That's right.
right? That's the mode.
That's me.
When
It's
they want to do something,
it's an negiyah. It's an negiyah. It's me.
He thinks he's right. If he's going to leave it, he's going to do something wrong.
You know, what you think about all day becomes you. If you're all day knocking yourself, you got a negiyah to continue with that.
I spoke to somebody, I'll tell you the negiyah.
Yeah.
I told somebody something along these lines. He says, don't be told to bracha.
Why? What do you mean?
Because he's scared the bracha will just not learn that down.
You got to watch what you're doing, you know. So anyway, what I do with this stuff is, you're out to kill yourself. You know, you're going to say, you know why this is happening? Because I'm a tzaddik. A tzaddik gets yisurim. Asher yahav Hashem yechiach. Made a mistake. The Eibishter wanted me to make that mistake. Oh, there's kfira going on all over the place. There's negative because I'm more chashiv. And the Eibishter, and I hold working. Whatever I'm doing, I hold is the right thing to do. Because Yitzhak is going to, I'm only, you know, they say it's something. I'm right, wrong. If I did it, it's right. If you're the kind of person that goes around as fake this all your life, you're always unsure of yourself, this is what you do. Mosech. Look around, ask around, find out what you're doing, and sit with. You have to paskin that you're the good guy around here, or else you're finished. Whatever I do is shechina medaberes. I did the right thing. I'm a tzaddik. Look, when you come out being down yourself with kapschos all day long, you're going to feel happy. If it's going to make you do averis, then watch it. But I'm not talking to those type of people. I'm talking to people who have yiras shamayim, who want to do the right thing, and they knock themselves more than they should.
That's what people are worried.
Right.
That's the negiyah.
That. When we get up to there, I have one specific. I have a younger man, he calls me up from Eretz Yisrael. He says, I wasn't talking about Kedusha. He says his positive way of thinking gave him a big boost in Kedusha. What does one have to do with the other? If you're mechuzik, then everything falls into place. Be mechazik yourself. It's rare. I have one ma'aseh that bothered me. A certain younger man, his wife, whatever she said, that she was getting so high with positive. I never hear this. Whoever gets high with positives is matzliach. Because that's every does tricky business. You need a rebbe. I keep saying, you must keep a rebbe to monitor you. And usually, not to make you make a detour because you blew yourself up so much already. It's usually to make you continue blowing because you didn't blow enough. That's the matzav. You never finish with this. In Yeneveld, I'm afraid they're going to mun me. You didn't blow yourself up enough. I'm not kidding. But there was Rabban Leib, the famous Maisa. He told Sorotsky, what percentage? He built 50 yeshivas. What percentage is Lishma? Maybe 5%. So it's a pity on the 5%. If that wouldn't be Lishma, you'd have much more mileage. People they're not alive these days. They need to be. Don't be afraid. Get moving. Call yourself every good name in the world. You got to be true too. There's some things. That's the matzah. Anyway, I have a couple of stories. My Hasidim. I'm the only Rebbe that tells stories about his Hasidim. I'm already working the other way. One of my Hasidim, Golumbik is one of my Hasidim. You want to know what a Rebbe he is? Golumbik? Get a bracha. I advise you to. Golumbik's a malach. He's great. And all my chevra, there are people sitting here who have stories. They should be given by them for sure. I know everybody here. You guys are top scholar. You're not stum. So I want to tell you this. A younger man calls me up to invite me to the chassan of his daughter or son. I don't know what. He had the corona. He had COVID problems. You ever hear that? He had COVID. He had COVID for a week in the hospital. And while he was in the hospital, they wouldn't get near him. They wouldn't touch him. They're all scared of him. Because he's got, watch out from this guy. So no food, no nothing. So he was alone with the Rabbeinu Shalom, and nobody there, nothing to do, except talk to Hashem all day. And he got so close, as soon as he wanted food, he says, Eibishter, I need some food. Knock, knock, here's some food. This happened all the time. He saw, Nisim, William. And he said, Eibishter, now I have a problem. I need a shit. My daughter, she's getting married. I don't have a penny. What am I going to do? Eibishter, I'm leaving it totally up to you. I'm not capable. I'm just not, I'm stuck in the hospital. I can't do nothing. Eibishter, you're going to have to take over. He told me, as soon as he went out of the hospital, money came flying from all sides, a few thousand there, a few telephone calls. When he spoke to me a night before the chasana, he told me, I'm 98% total taken care of. I didn't put, like they say in Yiddish, nicht a Hand in kalt Wasser. Not a hand in cold water. Nothing! Because he said, Eibishter, I'm leaving it up to you. When you talk to Hashem, when you go to the doctor, you say, Eibishter, you are my doctor. And say it loud to yourself. When you say that, it happens. And whatever the doctor is going to say the right thing. I know a guy used to go to a therapist. He went nowhere. So I told him, next time you go to a therapist, Eibishter, you are my therapist. And make sure this therapist should say stuff that's going to work. He comes in, he had a new therapist. You have to understand, every move you make, you'll have a new doctor, you have a new everything. Rabbeinu Shalom, you're the one in charge. You're in charge of this guy's brains. The guy hates me. I know a guy had this. Oh boy, did he have mileage. Okay. Make him straighten out. Boy, did he straighten out. The guy suddenly loves him. That's a true story. Eibishter, you're in charge, but spell out the matzav instead of spell out the matzav. This is about Kip Tarach, Rabbi said, Bo Ba'aminechem. Rabbi say, develop a kasha with the Eibishter. I knew people that every move they made, there was such mitzlachim, they told me, every move I make, I consult the Eibishter. Everything I do, and then I say, thank you. The double lunches, that's all used to do that. Every move was he matzliach. In my books, that's called hatzlacha. A man who felt, don't ask, he had to marry off his shine. He needed money for his shidduch. I knocked on the door, boom, he was laughing. His house was burning. I saw his house was burning. I needed a Rebbe, the only one in Lakewood that had anything shaykhus to what I was looking for was your David Lanchitz. He was kuli Amuna and Bטחון. I need Novandik, that's my life. I come back to Lakewood, Eibishter, I'm standing in the street. Eibishter, I need a Rebbe. do me a favor, get me a lever that's my cup of tea with Amuna B'tachon. 2 months later, Rav David Lenschitz moved to, and I pointed, I said, Eibishter, about a half a block from here would be perfect. I promise you it's true. I was standing in the street right here. Half a block, 2 blocks would be just right. I think I was in the other direction, this direction. Wasn't a Geya. 2 months later, Rav David Lenschitz moves here. I told him, by the way, guess who got you here? I'm the guy. Anyway, so he was there. Then he had a fire. He had a fire. I watched the way the fire happened. And he was standing there, watching the fire like a show. He didn't care. He was a tzaddik, a real tzaddik. David Lenschitz, have a look. We got Nathan. So then, after the fire, what's going to be now, Mendel? I'm not worried. I have Bטחון. So they bought him a temporary house, and they built him a new house, exactly the same distance from me as before, just a different direction. So when I daven, I get my, I'm a big Balmaifus, everybody knows that. Anyway, so the way he wanted to marry off his kids, he used to laugh at everything. He was a real Baal B'tachon. We used to laugh together. I used to schmooze around with him. And he used to laugh at his problems. He suddenly got money. He suddenly from nowhere when he needed it. He's Murdoch. Anyway, the Eibishter, my father used to call himself a Ben Yochid to the Eibishter. I believe in that. You're a Ben Yochid. Get close to the Eibishter and don't be in a spoil from anything. Know his spilus. But I'm not feeling well. I didn't sleep enough last night. So what? I once didn't sleep enough. You know what I did? First thing in the morning, I took a piece of paper and I wrote, I slept great last night. I promise you, I was better that day than any other day. I'm not saying you should try to lose sleep, but when it happens, you're the boss of your whole life. If you teach, chalamis go according to the Pisrin. I always paskin good. Always. Yesh darshim l'shvach. Everything l'shvach. Yourself. You done yourself with kapschus. The Eibishter likes that. He doesn't want you going around all depressed. Once I know a younger man, he went to a big Rav in America. Didn't have kids for 5 years. He went to the Rav says, you don't look like a happy camper. He was getting sick, and this and that, and losing weight. Terrible. And wife fighting with his wife. So he recommended to cheer up. You want to have kids? Show the Eibishter you're a happy camper in this world. The guy goes around all pakvetch. Right afterwards, he's turned on to me. You realize the hotline, Mendel, B'tachon Weeklies. He called me up. After 5 years, soon as he turned around his way of thinking, he had a refuah shalema. 9 months later, his wife had a baby, and his shalom bayis guy, he decided that what Amuna did to him, it made him look when his wife yelled at him. It's not her. It's the Eibishter, so he can't be angry. And so he stopped getting angry. And then she noticed it, so she decided, hey, he's acting nasty. That's not him. It's the Eibishter. So they became best friends. Because nobody's fighting with anybody. Everybody's blaming everything on the Eibishter. The Eibishter's testing me. So you blame the Eibishter. That's why you have to have Ish V'Isha Shechina. There's 3 partners in a shidduch. Eibishter's the referee. To make sure they get along. Each person got to keep saying, it's just the Hashem Amalekal. She's a nasty witch. That's not her. She's a nice lady. The Eibishter, the David HaMelech, it says by Shimon Ben Gera, he said, how could a Rosh Sanhedrin act like this and throw rocks at me and call me a mamzer and a reitzeach and a nayef? How does he do such a thing? I think the Metzudah says that. Rosh Sanhedrin, Elamah, it's not him. It's the Eibishter. Simple. He's not angry at Shimon Ben Gera. In fact, when he needs a tutor for his son, he takes Shimon Ben Gera. You're perfect. I'll tell you, besides, I had a pshat there because you need a mechutzav to raise a young prince, or else no one will give a prince needs a pot. You think he's the new king, so you can't give him a good chinuch. You need an azas panim, like when he saw Shimon Ben Gera, what an azas panim he could be towards the melech. He's not afraid to throw rocks at a king. Oh, I'm looking for you. You're just the man I need. Perfect for Shlomo. And that's how Shlomo became what he became. And as soon as Shimon Megayer was killed, Shlomo had a doorfall, right? He married Baspare. He's perfect. Shimon, I need you. So Bador wasn't angry at him. So with your wife, what are you angry at your wife for? What are you angry at your boss? What are you angry? The Abish, it's all the Abish. So these people got along. It's murder. They got along great. Not everybody could do that, to use bטחון for human relations. Not everybody. In the Vardig, they recommended learning other sfar. Like, I don't want to talk about it. It's not for us. It's going to be, I would say, self-esteem a lot. But they weren't, you needed more besides it. Work on your own self-esteem, you'll be happier, you won't get so upset. Now, I wanted to tell you, a lot of people say my tefillahs aren't answered. And they're very upset. I daven and nothing happens. You know how many people tell me this? So I have good company for you. Guess who else is like that? Tefillahs never answered. Rivka. Ain't a daima tefillahs tzaddik ben tzaddik. She's the one that the tefillahs aren't answered, right? And Rashi praises her that she is the one that even though she came from such a rotten background, it says, Bas Besuel, Achais Lovan, from Aram, from all the bums. She comes from all the bums and she's still Rivka. So Rashi says it's a maila to have a baggage background. And now Rashi says, no, she wasn't answered. Yitzchak, because she had a bad background. A Bas Russia. So her tefillahs weren't answered. So what's going on? Is it good or bad? Teretz is, if you're one of those that your tefillahs aren't answered for whatever reason, you're the good guy. The Rebbe says, testing you, because you're a tzaddik. Keep it up. Don't be despoiled. That's Adarab. It's a sign you're the better person. Because you have to mushazach more and avodas Hashem. Things aren't happening. You try, it doesn't happen. You know, people tell me right after I tried, worked on bטחון, and the next day things went the other way. Oh, that's separate the mice from the men. That's faket. You don't fall for that stuff. Don't give me this. I'm going to win. And what happened at the end? The Mama Rivka took over the show. If not for the Mama Rivka, Esav would have gotten the brachas. She saved, and going against her husband, who was Yitzchak Avinu. She went against Yitzchak Avinu. She was 3-year-old. He was 40, and she admired him. Afal became, because the Nebuchadnezzar, now I'll tell you, the Al-Shach HaKodesh says about the Mama Leah. It's very strikingly similar. The Nebuchs always come out ahead. In my Vad, if you're a Nebuch, you're in. I only deal with Nebuchs. And by the way, most of my Nebuchs, they get the Kedushin. I have all kinds of Nebuchs. In fact, they're usually the big Virim. Every guy I know thinks he's a Nebuch. For whatever reason. Everybody's got to know. They don't know what I have to go through. They all sound the same. But anyway, I want to tell you that the Mama Leah, says the Al-Shach HaKodesh, she had everything going against her. She has, first of all, Yitzchak Avinu was a Pesach Gadol. And he paskin, the old one marries the old one. Leah, you're a kala to Esav. He'll change them out. It'll be okay. But that's the matzav. And Rachel and Yaakov, that's it. So you're going to fight with the psaka to go lador. So the Mama Leah is, and then her father, Lavan. Yes, you're going to start up with Lavan. And your sister, of course, she wants Yaakov. Who am I turning to? He runs to the Shalom. She cries and she cries and she cries and she cries and she cries. And she wasn't spoiled. Imagine so much going against you. The Al-Shach HaKodesh brings this out. Everyone's against you. It's not working. You're dominating. It's not. See? I must have done something. There's akpada somewhere. That's why it's not working. Or I once spoke Lashon Hara. Or there's a reason why things aren't working. I did this, I did that. The Yitzhar is on your case. Sung the Moses for him. You just keep davening and watch what happens. Don't give up. So the Mama Leah keeps davening us. Finally, Yaakov arrives. And she's all excited. She's hoping he'll take a look at her. That's what I would imagine. And maybe I'll get my daven years. My eyes are, her eyelashes were gone. It was a shrek. But she davened. How could they able to say no to so much tefillah? And the answer was, Loi mitan aleph. You're not getting him. Yaakov gets up and he says, okay, Lavan, I want Rachel, not Leah. Bitcha haktana. Don't play games with me. Do not give me Leah. How do you like that? For that's what he did. How did you feel Leah felt about that? She reminds me of Rivka Imenu. Phyllis not answered. You know? Phyllis had not answered. What happened B'Seif? For sure she kept davening. And B'Seif her davening did turn the ma'pecha, made her sister do a tzidkis that the universe never saw. To give away such a shidduch, give away Malchus, she gave away Moshe Rabbeinu, she gave away Aaron HaKaim, she gave away Yisachar and Zavulun, she got everything. Shevet Shimon, Shevet Levi. I don't want to embarrass my sister. So just tzidkis, thanks to Leah's tefillas. And what happened too? And then she also caused the biggest riches in the universe. How do you get up with your own daughter and you make us play a game? Well, I'm sorry, you're going to marry this one. Did you ever hear such a scandal? They would say, Dustab and Ken and Dean. How do you do something like that? You switch the collars. Who made that happen? That's Leah's tears. That she made it happen. That's the power of persistence. You keep davening and davening. And don't have no yish. Keep davening. But I'm not really davening good. Good. If you're not davening good, those are the best tefillas. Because you don't have any, it's better like that. You always have to come out ahead. You like to have a big olam. I have a Rebbe that said, have a small olam. He holds like that. Rabbi said, give me a whole shmooze about it. No. You're looking for covet? Small olam. There's, I just quoted a Gemara in Kedushin. The Gemara in Kedushin says that if a woman gets married to a guy that she thought he was rich, he ended up being poor. It's a mekach tois. Is it a mekach tois? There's a case. Well, you could retract. If you said something, if you said you want a rich guy, you get a poor guy, no good. If you want a poor guy, the Gemara, all I want to bring out is, the Gemara shows how some people would rather have a poor guy, because the rich guy his head's flying all over. I don't have a husband. I don't want no rich guy. And then the Gemara says, you can have a husband that lives next to the merchants, and a husband that lives farther next to the merchants, convenience. But no, I like a guy that's far from the merchants. Because the merchants, the air is not healthy over there. It's near merchants. And there's all different moms who are in a sin, but no, born Jewish, even though there's a case for everything. There's halachas that, there's a case. You have to build a case proving what I have is the best thing in the world. You can prove everything has a tzad to say this. No, I like this. But what do people do? Says Rav Dava Blacha. They're busy with other people's cases. Busy. This guy's Ian, and he's stretching his head off all his life. He doesn't move. He's molasses. And then he watches the other guys finishing Masechtas, and he's getting green. What an amoritz the rice I became. And then a guy, people knock themselves. Maybe Ian's better. By the way, Mechas Aloza held that, I'm going to get trouble now. The whole Dirshu's getting, they ever hear what I'm going to say now. I'm in hot soup, but I'm just getting, listen, I ain't panam l'tayri, You know that the Mechas Aloza said that really Oika Harim is better than Sinai. Even though the Gemara says Sinai Adif because people didn't have Gemaras. But today that they have Gemaras, Oika Harim is better than Sinai. Boom. So if you're Oika Harim type, go to the Mechas Aloza. He holds you're the better guy. Right? Whatever happens. You could find a case proving you to be the luckiest guy in the world. And you have to find it, and every day you have to work on it. This is the Avodas Hazman. And if you have Atzlacha, you don't have Atzlacha, Ma'in Gemina. You always have to have atzlacha. My enough community. You have the Eibishter. You get B'tachon. You don't have atzlacha, very good. Get B'zaynis. I spoke today about B'zaynis. I speak in Coventry between Mincha Meir. But that was on the Merital by Melichud. I want to speak my head off. And sure enough, I decided to switch shuls. I didn't even know what I'm getting into. Between Mincha Meir, the only thing is it's on the clock there. You better not speak more than 2.5 minutes or you're dead. You lose half your Olam. They weren't doing anything, so this fellow that wants it. So because I speak. So I spoke about B'zaynis. The greatness of B'zaynis. Rabbi say, guess why I'm speaking? I'm speaking here because my Rabbeim taught me, Lech reid, be mafki your covered. Put your covered in sakana like this. I'm in a comfort zone. People see me. Oh, he looks like a good guy. But once I speak, they're going to see who I am. And I can get B'zaynis. So I'm putting my covet in sakana. That's why we speak in Novandik. To put your covet in sakana. You may end up messing up. And they won't like it. And you're not going to... So that's why we speak. Get some B'zaynis. I had a Rebbe, Rabbi Zatzal. They say about him, he had a choice of 2 shuls to go to. One shul they stood up for him, they machshed him. The other shul he was politically incorrect. They destroyed him. Guess where he went? Place for B'zaynis. That's where he went for a year. That's what I heard. Dafka went there. He liked it. If you learn Musar on B'zaynis, you can do it. Like this, that, and you're such a happy person. His simcha level, he cries. He laughed in his sleep. He once told me, Yom Ryan, he says, oh, I could cry. It's not easy. He wasn't into it. He can't, what? Cry. Ooh, oh. He was so full of person who loved B'zaynis. The kids in my class, I'm teaching 9-year-olds for 40 years. I give them a lot of Musa, a lot of positive stuff. Kidlach, what made the biggest Reishim on you more than anything else that I did for you in this class with the Musa? All the kids have the same answer. We are not so afraid of B'zaynis. 9-year-old Bobalach. B'zaynis, they get so embarrassed. My mother said this, my Rebbe said that. The B'zaynis kills them. They get a chinuch. B'zaynis is a kapara. They're different people. They're happy. I told you this guy had, he had Yenamachos. I asked him, who's bothering you in your life? Sure enough, it was his wife. His wife gives him an hour a day, B'zaynis. And that's what he says. Anyway, and so I says, you want to get rid of Yenamachla? Here's a sefer on B'zaynis. I gave him a sefer, how great B'zaynis is. Learned that a half hour a day. 2 weeks later, no more Yenamachla. It's a different world. Because the root of all the body doesn't like an unhappy person. So the root of all your sicknesses and everything is when you have psychological things bothering you. When you go around all day, b'simcha, and you laugh at the world. There was an Arab doctor who said, he's a Pnei Menachem, was big on this. He tells a story that this doctor went around and he said, this guy's going to be well, this guy's finished, this guy's going to be okay. Pnei Menachem, the Ger Rebbe said this. And he said, and the doctor was right about everybody. He said, how do you know? He said, with this guy going around happy, he's going to get out of the hospital about very after. This guy, that's why Nageshin, Novandik, Nageshin told me this. I tell the doctor how I'm doing. I don't ask him. I know how I'm doing. You cheer up, you'll be fine. It's all in cup. It's all in your head. You go around all day. It's a brachin. You make a kvias. And if you're not depressed, you're one of those, be happily depressed. Don't fight it. I like to be depressed. It's tough. I can't always hold that smile. Too much stress. You can smile your head off. I don't want to get involved in all these smiles. I like to be glumpy. That's my thing. I like to be a glumpy guy. That's me. So I don't, you know why you're so stressed about being with Simcha? Because you're going to lose your covet. People will look at you like a sad sack. So I'm losing cover. I'll get B'zaynis. I'm a sad guy. He's a happy guy. He's not a, You see pictures of Kim. He has a statue of himself smiling. He's a worse cutthroat. He's a Hitler plus. He's a Shrek. What he does to people. But he's a happy guy. You need that? I'm not one of these happy guys, all right? The pictures of Galen from way back. I don't see so many smiles. Now they better smile or yeah, smiling. Pose, hey. Galen have to look happy because you gotta be happy. I'm not so happy, leave me alone. I'm not interested in being happy. I like being sad. I'm nervous. Yes. What's wrong with being nervous? Be nervous. It's been a shemayim. I got to tell you, Meiri. The Meiri is a bomb. The Meiri says all people who have anxieties should know Ein Roya Pnei Gehenna. Why? The Meiri says like this in Makis, second parak Makis. The Meiri says that Nigba Dinai, who makes Kain Gadol, he's putter from Gullus. Now this man, he's supposed to go away from his house for the rest of his life until the Kain Gadol dies. Why? Because he killed B'Shagig. So he has a Gemara din that he killed B'Shagig, and then he has a Gemara din, you killed B'Shagig, you got to go to your Miklat. 5 minutes after the psak, he just packed his bags to go to your Miklat for the rest of his life. It's terrible. He's going to leave his family. You get a report the Kain Gadol just died. Pata from Gullus. You don't have to go there. But he was never there. You pata. If you were there at least a few days, so you served your sentence, you're lucky. It's a short sentence. Kain Gadol died, but at least you were there. You weren't even there. It was a Gemara din that you got to go to Gullus, and then the Kain Gadol dies, pata from the whole business, says the Meiri. Because, this is Lasha, Nechkak b'dimyaynai. What he saw in his dimyan, that he's going to Gullus, that did the job, and it's as if he was there. Get lost. I served my sentence. You weren't there. So all these guys that go around all day with fears, and what's going to be with me? So they have a kapara of Misa. If they're afraid of death, they have a kapara of Misa. How's that? They had Misa, and they had Yeshudim. All your fears, all these scary guys, anxiety-ridden people that are depressive, it's as if they went through all the stuff they're worried about, and have a kapara. That ain't a right Pnei Gehenna. So from now on, people with anxieties have the best way out of all your problems. Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just say it for making me that tight. Because it's a bracha. It's as if I had that einish, that I now don't have to have it even. Because I had the fear. How do you like that one? You're going to make a lot of happy people. That's enough for today. We have to start saying that. You know what Abishah said? I said, I want them to write on my grave. I'm already very into that. I want them to write on my grave that I never in my life ate one chocolate covered ant. Not once. And according to Gemara, it says big things about guys like me. It says that a guy like me is a tzaddik. The person, the Gemara says, Gezel rice. The Gemara says very stark azachem. You get your Mekayim. You know how many lavin I'm not over when I don't eat an ant? 5 lavin. You know what that is? I didn't eat thousands of ants in my life. You know what chusim I have? So the Abishta on my spade, if anybody's out of material, throw it in there. Mendel never ate an ant, he never ate a cockroach, he never ate a centipede. He's a tzaddik. Never ate a caterpillar. You'd be surprised. I want to note the game are into eating these things. They hold it to high protein content. You have to start eating this chazarai. It's very good. We can save a lot of money. Just take the cockroaches and go fresh all day. Very priya cockroach will find them. Look at the guy. It's funny. I saw a whole write-up about it. The whole world is into eating these things. It's very healthy. That's how it creep into your body. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. It's against the belt today. Is so funny. You know, the belt is so Pnei Adon and Pnei Akelim. You know, I was speaking for the Shidduchim. You know, Motzei Shabbos, they wanted me to speak. So I spoke, and they started asking questions. could a Meshuggah get married? Somebody asked me this. Could a Meshuggah get married? What are these Elta Bachar that looks at himself like, who knows what they're saying about me? Could a Meshuggah get married? That they asked me this in public. I have a quick answer. I says, listen to me. If Chazal say Pnei Ador ke Pnei HaKelev, that means all the Meshuggahim should not feel that they're alone. You're not alone. You've got plenty of company. If Chazal come I tell you what happened. I was called twice in the last 2 weeks, emergency. A 5-year-old kid beat up his father and his mother, I promise you. And I had to come to be the policeman to take care of you. Have a musik. In that house, the Mekayim Kabbalah is Mincha. 5-year-old schnook, 6 the most. And he is a terror. I told the parents, you're not quite qualified for this kid. This kid's way above you. They're scared of him. They are afraid of the kid. The mother cried, please don't kick me. Did you hear that? You're not going to believe it. That's what's going on. That's an extreme. But they asked me to come and beat up the kid. You know, my Uncle Manis used to say, it's a stage. Say, stage, schmage, zwei patch, stage.
What do you do?
What?
What do you do?
I did a job. Whenever they have trouble, we're going to call Rabbi Mendel. Rabbi Mendel rolls up his sleeve and he goes flying. He disappeared. He flew out of the room. And we were all 3 of us, the father, the mother, and me, were trying to find him. Nobody found him. You see, he's smarter than us. Don't start up with him. He's way ahead of all of us. Finally, the mother, he was mamish in bed, normal. No one thought of looking. He actually went to bed. You know, they finally got him in bed. Anyway, so I'm called for anybody have any emergency operations. You need me to help you out. I'll be happy. They get so scared of me. Call Rabbi Mendel. Anyway, so that's Azador. Things like this can happen. Why are the Bach afraid? Maybe they're calling him a Meshuggah. And then I said another zach. I said, and besides, there's plenty of crazy girls around. There's no problem. You want to find some crazy girls? They're all over the place. What? That's not good. No Bachram were allowed to hear that. That was X-rated stuff. That getting married, you want to make trouble in your